It's two of the top four in the top flight on show tonight. Good evening and welcome to the inaugural Kappa Queensland Cup final. Imperial Corp Stadium is the setting for Moreton City Excelsior v Lions FC in 90 minutes or more, which we can't wait to unfold. My name is Josh Musamisi and I'm joined by James Coughlin. We are licking our lips tonight. This should be a good one.
It should be. It's the 10th edition of this tournament, but it's the first time it's been played to a conclusion rather than just finding the final four for the Australian Cup. It's the third trophy of the season both are contesting. I can't wait.
As you can see, the pizzas are being cooked and devoured, I'm sure about that.
Yeah, it's making me hungry.
But one thing is the crowd is filling up as the sun is setting across Brisbane. There's our Lions outfit who will be taking on Moreton City Excelsior, who are the merger club, of course, between Moreton Bay United and Albany Creek Excelsior from last season.
It is, and they've come up really strongly in the last couple of years under Cam Miller, and pressure is on to deliver a trophy for what has been a very successful two-year run.
The atmosphere is building. A pointing end of the season as well, as the stakes begin to rise. Marquez Walters, nothing new to pressure.
Yeah, he's a prolific goal scorer, Kez Walters, the Shark, and he's going to have his hands full when he takes on a strong Lions defence as well as they go through their warm-ups. And one of the players he's going to have to deal with is right there, Jackson Hart-Phillips. Boy, he's a good defender on that left side.
Now, there's plenty to discuss when it comes to the team news here, James, as there's been some reshuffling taking place, both with Moreton City Excelsior and Lions FC. We'll take a look at Moreton City Excelsior first, as they have announced their lineup. Nathan Foster in goals, Damon Anderson out on the wing, Sayes in the midfield, Marquez Walters up top.
I've got my eye on Ben Holiday. That left wing-back role, he's really made it his own for Cam Miller. He missed the finals last year through injury, but he has been huge in 2024.
And as for Lions, as we take a look at the side that Darren Syme has selected, no Alex Fechner tonight, which is important to note. Jackson Hart-Phillips is the man you have spoken about, will start in the defensive role. Jack Skinner up top with Andy Pengelly.
It is, and there's going to be all sorts of pressure on that defence. Luke Borean chosen over Carter Pond in goals. Hashan Ramazani, I've been a big fan of him and Hart-Phillips when they were at the Raw in the NPL, and now they're experiencing success in a different shade of orange as they go for silverware tonight.
I'm really excited for this one.
I
really
am too.
Excited. And
I'm hungry as well, but that's just because of all the pizza.
But I can't wait. Coming here tonight, I'm just thinking about the matchups across the field. The two managers, Cameron Miller and Darren Syme. Cameron Miller, a young manager, but plenty of experience.
He is, and he's done a really good job just building on the foundations that were built by his predecessors at, what was formerly Moreton Bay United, especially by Royce Brownlee as well. And he's just taken this side to a whole other level. Defeated grand finalists last year, second in the league. Is this the night where he gets the trophy? Well, we're going to find out over 90 or maybe 120 minutes, but the pressure is on, and Lions, well, this is a side that expects silverware.
How do you think both sides feel as of right now as to how their season has played out so far?
I feel like they've got to be pretty happy with it as overall. Like, they're both in the NPL finals. Lions did win the Kappa Pro Series grand final not that long ago. You were in comms for that game. It feels like maybe there's more pressure on Moreton City just to deliver that trophy. But overall, it does feel like such a toss-up because it's two very evenly matched sides with very high expectations.
You have Gold Coast Knights who have run away with the premiership.
They're good.
You would say they are favourites to win the championship. However, interesting to note, this will tell us a lot as to how the final series may play out.
It certainly will, and it's worth noting as well, different competition, but the Kappa Pro Series grand semi-final, Lions went down to Gold Coast Knights and beat them in that game. So this is not to say that this is a case where one side is just runaway favourites, but it's going to be such a tight match where any of the four teams in it, we should also mention Penn Power as well, they're going to be going for broke as well, and every side expects a trophy like what they're playing for tonight.
Now, so ahead of tonight too, 7 members shortlisted for the Queensland state team for Moreton City Excelsior, 9 for Lions. When I say members, both coaches are included in that. Plenty of stars on show tonight. I know you highlighted your men you can't wait to see. But the squad as a whole, both sides work very well in unison.
Well, both of these squads go very, very deep, and now we're almost ready for kickoff.
Moreton City Excelsior have their first chance at silverware as they look to cash in on this campaign, whilst Lions will be hoping to add to the trophy cabinet as they participate in their second final for 2024. Both sides are still very much alive in the Australia Cup, whilst tonight will decide the winner in the Queensland cohort.
And both sides in their nominal home cup kits as well. Led out by some very experienced campaigners. Declan Smith, tying up a shoelace for one of the junior players there. That's a good sign. And now that he's standing up, you can actually get to see just how tall he is. The defender who can occasionally pop up at striker. Joe Duckworth, the quarterback for Lions. One-time Golden Boot winner, now defensive midfielder. It's stars galore tonight as well.
Well, we will get back to that. Importantly, weather conditions. Clear skies all evening. Temperature sitting at 21 degrees with little to no wind. So perfect conditions for football. And our match officials tonight. Our fourth official includes Nicholas Mackay. Our two assistants, Jay Hudson and Abdullah Al-Khamisi. And Max Crane will man the middle.
I'm not sure which job would be the best one to get out of all this. Probably the assistant on the far side, because you don't want to be the fourth official right between the two benches, copping all of the feedback, shall we say.
So before we got to formalities, talking about how they work in unison, both sides, there's real no weakness across the park. There rarely is an NPL level, but these two just boast something different.
Yeah, and they're so well drilled as well. Both coaches know exactly what they want their identities to be, and they make sure that they're deploying a side that will play in the way that they want them to. And you've got to remember as well, for both these sides, it's a cup final tonight, but they've also got a pretty big game coming up midweek.
We will get to that as we move forward. Now, one win each in the National Premier League's Queensland against each other throughout the year. Moreton City Excelsior finishing second, 6 points ahead of Lions, who finished fourth in the NPL Queensland ladder. And both Moreton City Excelsior and Lions kept 2 clean sheets in the Kappa Queensland Cup run. Defence important tonight.
It really is, and in a game like this, I think we're going to see kind of a cagey start. Neither side is going to want to be blown out in the first 20 minutes and find themselves trying to dig out of a Grand Canyon-sized hole. But it's going to be super important as well for both sides to maintain the composure. There's a few firecrackers on each side, and I think maintaining their calmness and composure, that'll be huge as well. But I think we might be looking at a game where the first goal is somewhat telling.
Well, I'm not going to ask you for a prediction.
I don't have a coin on me to do a toss for that. So,
but what I do want to know is who has more to lose tonight?
I think it's Moreton City. They need to win this trophy as well. Lions, they've already got a trophy this season as well. And for the nominal home side, Moreton City tonight, they need to get that piece of silverware just to take that building process through to the next step. But either way, it's going to be a huge game. I really can't wait. And we're almost ready to go.
So another piece of silverware on the line tonight. It is black v orange. And buckle up. Get ready for a ride which is set to ignite. The inaugural Kappa Queensland Cup final has begun, and it is Moreton City Excelsior running from right to left. As I did touch on in the intro, as Marquez Walters finds some space. And it's dealt with by Lions. Sean Carlos will get it clear. But Moreton City Excelsior continue to come through. Emran Donnelly-Fagan as they look to settle into possession. Both sides met twice this year, and you commentated that round 7 match on the 14th of April. Talk me through what you saw.
It was a wild game. That's probably the succinct way to sum it up. But Lions, they were so successful attacking down those wings. Brindle South had a field day, as did Jack Skinner, who's just on the ball there. And the new signing from Redlands United, Jack Skinner, I think he's going to be huge tonight as well, because he just brings that unknown X factor, and he's probably going to have to take a bigger role with the big absence for Lions.
Well, he didn't score any goals on that day. It was Fechner with 2 and Pangeli with 2. He was sent off in the 64th minute, Jack Skinner, but Lions led 3-0 inside the opening 30 minutes. Moreton City Excelsior did win the second half, which was an interesting stat to find, but they did run away with it there at Walter Park too, Lions. And that's something you don't want to give away, is a fast start as Edenap finds Beakhurst. And now it's Lions' turn to use the ball inside the final third. Brindle South looking for the run of Beakhurst, but just not on song to begin.
Think about the experience that both of these sides bring to the table as well. Josh Brindle South, a couple of years with the Brisbane Roar, now he's back at Lions. A favourite of Warren Moon, who's now the technical director at Lions. And really, it's just ridiculous some of the names that they've been able to acquire both of these sides.
We've spoken about the lack of weakness in either side. However, one stark point to make is Lions in all competitions, well, rather their last 3 matches, 0 wins throughout August. Their last win was against Perth Red Star at Percy Doyle Reserve, of course, in the round of 32 Australia Cup tie. But since then, it was a draw, then 2 losses, 5-0 against Gold Coast Knights last weekend.
Although it does come with a little bit of a caveat where that was a rotated side. A few names getting welcomed back into the mix as well, most notably Tommy Jarrett, the central defender, who's back from his European sojourn. As we've got a player down injured as well as Joe Scott. He's been a big player for them this year as well. He set up that opening goal in the Australia Cup round of 32 clash against Campbelltown and has got a wand of a left foot.
Yes, he scored the winner to send Moreton Bay United that time through to the grand final last year in the semi-final. Of course, spent roughly 8 seasons at Southwest Queensland Thunder.
I remember when he was at Southwest Queensland Thunder, the 2020 FQPL Grand Final, Logan were up 2-1 in extra time. He had like 3 free kicks in the final 10 or so minutes, including one that just rocketed off the post as well. So he could be one to watch at set piece as well, whether it's delivering or shooting. I love bringing that up.
And while we do talk about Lions, Moreton City, 6 wins in their last 7. So 2 different form guides coming here, but you pretty much can throw that out the window. As you mentioned, the caveat to go with that.
And the interesting thing with Lions' approach over the last little while is Skinner goes into the box.
Jack Skinner taking the shot on. Nathan Foster has to watch Pengelly. It might just fall to him as Sean Carlos winds up. And Say has got in the road just in time. Well, an early opportunity there for Lions.
It is, and for a side like Lions that is so well drilled, they're not afraid to just build up for the big games and try and flick the switch. As Pengelly, I think he almost could have gotten a bit more on that header initially and just couldn't get the ball out from under his feet to get the clean shot away.
Well, Andy Pengelly only played a total of 50 minutes in the last 3 matches for Lions. We were talking about this prior to coming on air, and certainly the underlying factor to that is just rotating the squad and ensuring he's right at the right time of year.
Yeah, and especially with Alex Fechner out injured, he's going to take on a much bigger role. He's been rotated around the field a little bit more, acting almost as a playmaker in certain games. And Fechner's taken on a bit more of that goal-scoring responsibility, but tonight he is going to be playing like the number on the back of his shirt as a true 9.
So certainly one to watch. Scored 27 goals in all competitions this season. One man that has managed to find the back of the net time and time again is Marquez Walters. Scored 33 goals in all competitions so far in 2024. And he can break the game open at any moment as Donnelly Fagan's looking for a touch. And eventually he finds it. Just got by James Edenap.
One of the bigger personalities in the competition as well, Kez Walters. The Shark, I think, is his self-appointed nickname.
Well, it's the celebration which suggests so.
Indeed. I'm sure I'd love to bring it out at Imperial Corp Stadium tonight, where this is also the venue where they won the semi-final as well.
So Bernardi just dropping it to Sayers, and Sean Carlos pressing hard against Nick Bernardi. Now Declan Smith looking for a way out, and he finds Damon Anderson, but Damon Anderson can't quite find the touch required. And they get out of trouble there, Lions, as they open up the field to Josh Brindle South.
Finn Beakhurst, he's made his way back from injury this season as well. He's battled injuries for a little while, but he does bring such a dynamic presence on that right wing. He can play fullback, he can play attacker. He's quite a useful asset to have.
Pengelly doing well to keep the ball in play. It won't reap any rewards for Lions, not initially at least, and then the foul on Sayers. They may have got away with one there, Moreton City Excelsior, if they're not careful.
They did, and that press from Lions, it's going to be one to watch, especially if Moreton City want to try and play their way out from the back, as they want to do. That's want with an O if you're closed captioning. Carlos, he can certainly hit them.
I was about to say, not afraid to shoot, Sean Carlos. And we always talk about the record of either side against the top four. The top four is the creme de la creme of football in Queensland, in the National Premier League Queensland. And for Moreton City Excelsior, 2 wins, 1 draw, 3 losses. For Lions, it's 4 wins, 1 draw, and 2 losses against the top 4. So an important stat here tonight as the 2 top 4 Titans go head-to-head. Lions only finishing fourth in the league, of course. A bit surprising. They do have a gap on 5th who will win on Wolves, but still.
Yeah, I think once they had their finals spot locked up, seeding might not have been as important to them as well, because they knew that it was going to be a tough game no matter what, whether it was at home finishing second or finishing in 3rd or 4th and going on the road. And look, there's no game where you can just say, oh, we've got a good chance of winning that one at the moment. But I think for them, they've worked out maybe it's better to just go into the finals fit and firing, even if you're finishing as the 4th seed as opposed to 3rd or 2nd. And when you've got the runs on the board that Lions do, it's kind of justifiable as well.
So Scott finding Kearpal, and he has room to run here. Zach Kearpal, Joe Duckworth making the challenge and supporting the back line, and in the end, Tommy Jarrett ends up with possession.
A few months away, hasn't missed a beat, Tommy Jarrett.
So much experience as Hart Phillips looks to play out from the back through Edenat. Now Berean, a bit of experience in goals. As you touched on, Cardiff Pond not starting tonight for Lions. Spent time with the Brisbane Roar whilst in the youth side, training with them, of course. And former clubs include Brisbane Roar and Olympic FC, Cardiff Pond. And not a bad shot stopper at the other end in Nathan Foster, who's really come onto the scene, it feels like, this year.
He has, and he's really made this job his own. He's had a few very nervy moments, but he's also come up with some huge saves as well, most notably in that game against Campbelltown City, where he wasn't consistently tested, but when called on, he was quite stable.
Stability at the back is very important, as Jackson Hart Phillips ran into a bit of trouble. The gap just closing up on him, and now Sayers in 2 minds.
Lockie Sayers maybe a player with a little bit more motivation than most, given his history with Olympic and grand finals against Lions.
He's back on a deck he's very familiar with, former Brisbane City member, as Skinner looks to drop on that right foot again. And that's twice now. He's had a little bit of time, Jack Skinner, inside the penalty area.
The best description for Jack Skinner is live wire, and meanwhile for Andy Pengelly, it's prolific. Although he is having a bit of a down year by his standards, 26 goals in Queensland competitions from 34 appearances. So for him, that's actually a bit of a slow season. Hey, when you set a high standard, you're expected to maintain it.
Well, for many years, he's been at the top of the goal-scoring charts, of course, Andy Pengelly. And now Ramazani and Tommy Jarrett working together as Brindle South gets it on to Edenap, and Lions just beginning to find a bit of a groove. They will pick up a free kick here. An important job tonight with the officials. Max Crane at the helm, and no doubt he will do a sound job tonight. But as the minutes tick on and the pressure mounts, the moments become gradually more important. We've spoken about Lions all round attack with Skinner and Pengelly. Their defence just as clinical, kept 6 clean sheets in a 9-game stretch between June and July. 5 of them in the league, 1 in the Kappa Queensland Cup. And that was an aggregate of 26 goals for and 5 against, just to show how dominant they were in that middle part of the year.
They were, and it's probably why they feel so confident coming into the finals.
Now Beakhurst and Reese Gwynn-Jones got in the way. It was a very vital intervention.
And it's all started by Ramazani at the back. With that great intervention, and now he's launching counter-attacks.
No Alex Feckman tonight. Finn Beakhurst is the man to step up to the plate. Named in the 2020 Brisbane Premier League Team of the Year, former member of St George, Willawong, Raw Youth and Moreton Bay United. He can certainly fit into just about any role across those 2 flanks for Lions, as he has done throughout the year. Brindle South now anchoring the attack. Skinner. Etanap. Again blocked. That's the 3rd shot, or rather potentially 4th shot that's been blocked by Moreton City Excelsior in the opening 12 and a half minutes.
Well, it's all hands on deck at the moment for Moreton City defensively. They need to get players back behind the ball, but they also need to find a way to get out of their half, because it does feel like our camera's pretty much been pointed down towards Nathan Foster's goal.
And they're very good at that, Lions, just building pressure and staying patient.
And there's something interesting I've noticed them do a lot more this season than in the past as well. They've switched to a back 3, so you've got Brindle South, Jared and Ramazani, and then you get Jackson Hart-Phillips pushing up, whether it's slotting into a central midfield role or hugging that touchline. And it is very much a all-hands-on-deck attacking approach as well.
Now Walters looking for support, and Emran Donnelly-Fagan just has an early sighter.
Well, if you've been to Luxury Paint Stadium at any point in the last 6-7 years, you'll know just how far out of his goal Luke Borean can stray. I don't think he's got the famous lollipop in his mouth tonight, but certainly one where if you can hit it, it's worth having a shot as Kierpal.
Yeah, Zach Kierpal just apologising for his challenge on Edenap. Maybe a little too aggressive, as Max Crane will call out some assistance for Edenap, and he'll call over Zach Kierpal.
And Brindle South just offering his viewpoint.
No doubt, Kierpal just attempting to set the tone, and unfortunately James Edenap was the victim of that.
It's one thing you see with Kierpal this season, and I think he's just picked up a yellow card as well. So a booking for the Moreton City attacker. And there you see the shot. I mean, why not?
He can hit him, Emran Donnelly-Fagan. To be fair to him, he has scored some crackers in the past. And now we just do have a break in play. This could be very important for Moreton City. Some would say they haven't gotten off to the greatest of starts. Here is the challenge. Kierpal on Edenap.
And it was certainly clumsy at the very least, definitely late. And I think he knew he was in a bit of trouble there, where he very quickly went to apologise both to the referee and to Jimmy Ontik-Knapp, who is now getting some treatment on that foot that was stepped on. Former Sunshine Coast Wanderers attacking midfielder. And, well, Kierpal with the striker's apology.
He certainly assisted in the combination between him and Marquez Walters this year. At the start, it was a bit clunky. Not many people knew how it was going to come to fruition. But since probably that first month and a half, maybe, they've certainly hit their straps.
It's one of those things that you always hear when these teams bring in new players and maybe just tweak their systems a little bit. Last year, it was Jeremy Stewart and Walters. This year, it's Kierpal and Walters. And once they got on the same page and started to learn each other's games, and it does take time to get on the same page, no matter what you're in. If you've got a new co-worker, you need time to learn how to get on the same page as them, what they're good at, what their strengths are. And it's no different here, where Kierpal and Walters, once they clicked, boy, they're dangerous.
So Lions just with the foothold in the match at the moment. Beakhurst Carlos. Sean Carlos forcing a stop from Nathan Foster. And the first corner of the match going the way of Lions.
Well, he's already had one rangefinder. That time he got the shot away, Sean Carlos, and that is his territory where he loves to hit them. And he's caught many a goalkeepers out from that area. Found well by Beakhurst. And down well was Foster to deny him.
So push some men forward Lions as the delivery is swung in. Nodded away by Moreton City Excelsior. Ramazani to Skinner. So elusive on the ball, Jack Skinner. And they rewind Lions through Ramazani and Joe Duckworth. And Ramazani just overcooking the delivery a touch. And Nathan Foster will be happy to watch that one sail.
Yeah, but you know if it went in, he would have absolutely claimed that was what he meant to do.
Walters just stumbling over the ball a little bit. Kierpal picks up the slack. Holiday had all of his options marked, and in the end he creates his own as Holiday turns it up for Marquez Walters. Duckworth will take the clearance approach, and Moreton City Excelsior with some much needed respite in possession.
Yeah, and it's finally a chance to get down into that Lions half and just put a little bit of pressure on Luke Borean. I think up until that chance, the closest they'd come was that long shot from Donnelly Fagan.
Pangeli got there in time. It's Darren Syme, the man in charge for Lions.
Always very well dressed on the sideline, Darren Syme. His family is part of the furniture out at Luxury Paint Stadium. Long history with the club, and he's managing the top men's team.
That's a brilliant challenge there by Damon Anderson to Scott. He'll just shuffle it away to Kierpal. And now Joe Scott looking to play provider. Anderson almost got away from Skinner. And this time it's Skinner going on a run, and Max Crane may have been tempted to let that keep moving, but he did have to pull it up in the end.
Yeah, you could see he wanted to blow up for the advantage, but, well, that was pretty much the only way they were stopping Jack Skinner at that point. It was just jumping in there and slowing him down, and Sayers was the one that took the hit.
So Beakhurst. Again, looking for Andy Pangeli. Those two have already combined for a half chance tonight. That's another copy of a play Declan Smith pulled out earlier, just finding Damon Anderson, who's not afraid to launch the ball forward. And again, Moreton City Excelsior just can't pick up another black jersey, of course. Duckworth just leaves the pass a little shallow, and Kierpal will earn the throw in for his side. And Cameron Miller, much more casual attire compared to Darren Syme.
But not a casual look on his face, though, as he's quickly ascended up the coaching ranks and has had a phenomenal start to life in charge with the NPL side at Moreton Bay and now Moreton City.
Ramazani going to the challenge wholeheartedly. Kierpal not backing out either.
And a great work by Ramazani just on that follow-up, just taking it away from the on-rushing Anderson.
And of course, while this is by default Moreton City Excelsior's home game, they are away tonight in a sense at Imperial Corp Stadium, home of Brisbane City. Their away record this year only one loss, and that was in the Kappa Pro Series quarter-final against Brisbane City, where they did not advance. But they'll take a lot of promise from that as Finn Beakhurst just didn't have the angle, pressure on him, and couldn't manage a shot on target.
Oh, it was oh so close for Lions there, but you just look at the build-up for that play as well, and you don't see Declan Smith get caught out by a bounce all that often. And for a ball to bounce over Declan Smith, it has to have a fair bit of power on it as well. And just Beakhurst couldn't wrap his foot around it to get it inside the post. And that was taking his eye off the ball was Bernardi. And Cam Miller on the sideline just issuing instructions, a former player with Moreton Bay, part of that 2015 grand final triumph.
And again, they look to push and poke down this right-hand edge, do Lions. Holiday just anywhere will do at the moment.
They're finding themselves pinned in deep once again. They had a couple of minutes where they were able to get it out of their end of the pitch, but once again, Lions really pressing for that opening goal. And was that straight off the mouth there of Bernardi? Well, he's making sure it doesn't show any after effects of that. Almost laser guided.
Briggle South, he gets a shot away. And they've had a lot of half chances to begin Lions, nothing of any great note as of yet. Moreton City Excelsior have gotten lucky on a couple of occasions. And here's another one of those.
And Brindle South can hit them, just ask Sydney FC.
So either side somewhat cruising to this point in the campaign for Moreton City Excelsior. 3-0 against Mitchelton, 12-1 against Springfield United. That is their biggest win so far in 2024. They are 9 different goal scorers on that night. Of course, Springfield fighting well and truly outside of their weight class, but they obviously found it difficult to come up against one of the premier teams in Queensland. And then the quarterfinal against Gold Coast United, 2-0 in favour of Moreton City Excelsior. And they got away with it against Brisbane City, 3-2 in the end in the semi-final. They were behind 2-1 at half-time in that match. Zach Kierpau with an 83rd minute winner to progress to the Kappa Queensland Cup final.
And what a finish it was as well. It was from it was a looping finish that went into the Brisbane City goal, and I'm sure they'd love for a similar storyline to unfold, although maybe for the sake of the heart rate, something a bit more routine.
Holiday, and it was oh so close. Ramazani tried to almost get out of the way. The deflection almost ended up in the back of the net.
Oh, it's almost getting punished at the other end, Lions, as Holiday just hit it across the face of goal and hoped. And that's who he was targeting there, Kez Walters. And Ramazani knew the danger that was lurking in the 6-yard box, and he did just enough, and well, he'll take it.
Well, Breen left the goal open, and so far tonight, one word that has been used a lot is almost, as this corner now high and long. Declan Smith just over the crossbar, and that's a good sign for Moreton City Excelsior.
And how do you mark Declan Smith at set pieces? I mean, you can put a body on him, but he's that tall and he's got that much of a leap that it really is tough to make it work. It was Duckworth who was trying to follow him, but he was just outmatched. Sean Ramazani, one of the mainstays for Lions, and boy, he's probably breathing a few sighs of relief after that near moment just before.
And as for Lions, well, they found the run to the Kappa Queensland Cup final a little easier than what they did the Kappa Pro Series. We see the Rabona pulled out from Zach Kierpau.
I think if you or I tried that, we'd probably wind up on a stretcher.
I would agree, James, as Bernardi has options once more. And Walters won't fully commit. Very tentative, and rightly so. Breen had right of way there.
He did, and that's what you want. We might have an injury now as Borean's just played it over the sideline as
Brindle South.
It's Brindle South. That's not what you want heading into the finals, but he does have that right thigh hamstring area strapped up. Oh, that's one for the highlight reel.
There's the party trick from Zach Kierpal. And now Max Crane just deliberating with Brindle South.
Now, I could be wrong, but because he went down and the game was stopped, does he have to come off? I would have thought that was the rule, unless it's off a foul.
Or is it if the trainer is brought on?
That's right, thank you.
If the trainer is brought on the park, then the recipient of the treatment must make way momentarily to then rejoin. However, Josh Brindle South okay to stay out there for the moment.
The rules changed that much. And it should be pointed out as well, just checking 81% humidity at the moment, so not exactly the easiest conditions to run around in, even if the temperature is still quite pleasant. But it is September, well, almost September football.
And Skinner away to Edenapp, and he just picks up Brindle South, roaming forward. Duckworth. He was some distance from goal, and in the end decided to play it safe.
I'm going to find that bell in the stands.
Well, it's good to hear some noise coming from the crowd as there is a cup final tonight.
And a matchup we could be seeing again in 2 weeks' time, pretty much from now, actually. Grand final day looming at Suncorp Stadium.
And Kierpal, well, a little bit of frustration there from Zach. He thought he didn't do much wrong. And perhaps fall on the ground a touch easy. Don't forget, those two came together earlier on in the match.
They did, and Kierpal, he's played with a lot of fire this year, and well, there wasn't a whole lot in that one, was there?
No.
Made sure that they knew there was contact, I think, is the delicate analysis of that situation. You just noticed before Brindle South, he's still still bent over at the moment. He was down on his haunches just before two, so that is something that we'll be keeping an eye on.
The indiscretion from Kierpal, just opening the door for Lions. It's Pengelly. Andy Pengelly tucks it home. Lions FC announce their status in the Kappa Queensland Cup final. They are ahead.
Well, he's automatic, Andy Pengelly, and from that range, you are not stopping him. And it was all started from that free kick. Perfect delivery to the back post, and the header back towards the 6-yard box found Pengelly. And these are the chances you don't want to give Lions. They've been knocking on the door for so long. There's the header back across, and it was Tommy Jarrod with the header back for Pengelly. So he'll get the assist on that one. But it's another goal to the already lengthy list for Andy Pengelly. Are you watching A-League?
He stands up for Lions inside the opening half an hour.
Well, that moves him on to equal third in the Kappa Queensland Cup Golden Boot standings. Now level with Morgan Saunders from Kingscliff.
And now it's up to Moreton City Excelsior to get in the arm wrestle. They've had to do it on a couple of occasions throughout the year. One that comes to mind was the match against Gold Coast Knights, the first grand final rematch earlier on in the year. Gold Coast Knights ended up winning 3-2 away at Walter Park that night, but it was to and fro from the very outset. And again here tonight, they are chasing the game, but they must keep pace with this Lions outfit.
They do. This is a side that has goals in them, so it's hardly game over in either way, but for Moreton City, they just need to keep their composure now. I've already seen a couple of flash points, and maybe you start to wonder if, how are they going to keep their cool and get themselves back into this match, because, well, now they have to score.
Kierpal trying to push it forward. Eventually makes better contact. claims of a handball. Brindle South will want to keep play going, but Max Crane spotted it as well, and it will be called back for a free kick. Inside Lions half. Here it is on the replay.
I'm not sure if there was a foul or a handball there. It could have been either one. Plenty of feeling between these two sides as well. That clash back in round 7 had plenty of intensity about it.
And when they met in round 18 back in July, it was 2-1 in favour of Moreton City Excelsior. Zach Kierpal with a 48th minute penalty, the difference.
It could very easily have been 3-1 as well, as Walters was dragged down late on, but Billy and Borean happy with Walters and the attention he gave Rampazani after the ball had gone out. I'm sure one of these days a player yelling at the ref is actually going to change their mind.
Luke Breen just creating a little bit more space there as he winds up for the goal kick. Already the first half now up, going by quite quickly. The next 15 minutes may include at a rapid rate as well. There's Gwyn Jones.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Foster, that we are. Where else would you rather be on your Saturday night? Sayers was corralled there, did well to find a teammate, as Declan Smith has certainly orchestrated a lot of the distribution for Moreton City Excelsior so far tonight. Kierpal again trying to provide for Marquez Walters. Donnelly Fagan doing his defensive duties, and they have it back, Moreton City Excelsior. Looking to create an out-and-out chance for themselves. And quite a fair bit of guile there from Emran Donnelly Fagan as it opens up for Scott. This is a step in the right direction. Scott! Jack Skinner claiming he did no wrong, and Max Crane agreeing. Well, we'll have to take another look.
I guess he got the ball off that one as well, because if he didn't, then I don't see how that can't be a penalty. Oh, I'll tell you what, that's a brave call from Max Crane, but
Ben Holiday is wearing black. I understand that, but he was very close to it. He wasn't too happy with the call not being made. Josh Brindle South, in consequence of all of that, was then fouled on the other side of the pitch. But as we took a look at that replay, touch and go there.
Well, here we go again as he's stepped through and...
Enough contact to consequent a whistle?
Well, given the rough lip reading of what Jack Skinner said, he dived. So that's what Lions felt about that build-up, and we'll leave it at that. We won't translate word for word.
Well, let's just pencil that moment in. A penalty shout gone missing. And Emran Donnelly Fagan will also find his name in the book. So a few decisions not quite going their way, Moreton City Excelsior.
And this is where those decisions, if justified or not, it's a heated atmosphere, and this is where the players really need to avoid just letting themselves get dragged into the emotion of the match as well, feeling like nothing's going their way. Because it's one of those things that can be used one way or another. It can either drag you down or it become like motivation. But for me, I feel like this is where Moreton City really need to make sure that their leaders are keeping a cool head and reminding these guys that it is still only a 1-0 match with plenty to play for. And
well, that's the third yellow card tonight.
On-tick nap for the Aussie rules style umpire bounce. I'm getting a bit of feeling in this one now. It's getting fun, Josh.
The crowd beginning to find their voices. Jared dispossessed Holiday, and it will be a Lions throw-in. So Brindle South will assume procedure. And it returns over possession. So Moreton City Excelsior trying to get on the front foot here. Holiday, a lot back for Bernardi. And they force him back to Lyons. Foster. Then Jones. And Scott just didn't get to the ball. It does fall for Walters. And here's the man you want in possession. It's Holiday. And he's tripped up. Joe Duckworth committing the foul, and they won't get away with that one. Lions, as we see another card produced. Well, they're flying out of the pocket at the moment.
Well, it's just trying to maintain a little bit of control in this game is Max Crane, our referee, and it's certainly one of these games that could get away from him very quickly as the two number 10s come together, and maybe he's just using these yellow cards as a way to give these players a reminder that he is in charge. He needs to be shown the necessary respect, and really, if these challenges are going to keep flying in, then there are going to be consequences for it.
From both sides' perspective, they know how important it is tonight to leave a bruise just in case they do come up against one another in a couple of weeks' time. As Declan Smith, you assume, will be the main target. Tommy Jarrett has eyes on him. Sayers putting it for Reece Gwyn-Jones, and it will fly away. A golden opportunity for Moreton City Excelsior.
How did Gwyn-Jones get that much space in the 18-yard box? He just made his run and was let go by Duckworth, and he looked on side as well because I think it was Tommy Jarrett who was marking another runner that was keeping him on.
That arguably the best chance so far for Moreton City Excelsior. As Walters will wait for this to fall. He'll do well to hold Tommy Jarrett off. And it's a free kick in a very threatening area.
Joe Scott territory here, it's got to be. And Duckworth now voicing his displeasure as he gets a little bit more leeway as the captain, but it was good body position by Walters here, just backing in. And well, look, Moreton City felt like that first goal might have come from a foul that was a little bit soft. Perhaps a little bit of a reminder that this game can be swings and roundabouts with the calls as well. That looked a little bit soft to me, but again, if that's the precedent that's been set, play the game as it's being officiated. So is it Walters with the right or Scott with the left?
Either or. It's going to be hit by Walters. Kierpal. Scott. Back for Sayers. Anderson now just opting for Holiday. And this left foot finds Joe Scott Berean with a glove. How did he get there, Luke Berean?
I'm still trying to work that one out. Josh, it was, for all money, it looked like Moreton City were going to equalise, and Berean comes up huge.
Holiday trying to find Kierpal, and that was Joe Scott with the header. Here it is again.
Oh, a fingertip save onto the crossbar, and well, they say the post can be a goalkeeper's best friend or their worst nightmare, and I think before he goes off for the halftime break, he might be giving a little fist bump to the crossbar down that end of Imperial Corp Stadium.
Moreton City Excelsior growing into this game as the chances begin to come for them. And again, Lions will move the ball quickly. Finds Skinner. Skinner trying to turn on a dime, which he does. He's almost perfected that, Jack Skinner. Brindle South with another touch as he will run in towards Moreton City Excelsior's half. And just taking metre by metre on offer are Lions. They are in control on the scoreboard thanks to a Andy Pangeli header inside the half-an-hour mark. And now they look to see out this opening 45 minutes. Here is Pangeli again. And Declan Smith read Pangeli's mind. Duckworth going to ground. Kierpal holds his hands up again. Already on a yellow card, Zach Kierpal.
He's really pushing his luck so far, Zach Kierpal. He's trying to play with an edge, but I think he might be teetering very close to going over it.
Duckworth, I feel as though had the presence of mind there to make...
Oh, that wasn't much in that.
No. But good gamesmanship there from Joe Duckworth.
It is, and well, it's a double-edged sword of Kierpal playing with an edge this year as well. Is you know you can wind him up, and you know, if you're going to stir him up and possibly make him do something silly later on in the game, then you know, it's all part of football, whether you love it or hate it. My general rule is when it works for a team I support, like Socceroos, Matildas, Arsenal, I love it.
And Emran Donnelly-Fager just coming in clean on Josh Brindle South as he has a shake of the head. Just getting caught up there. Brindle South and Donnelly-Fagan. Duckworth taking it quickly. And Beakhurst cutting it across. Luckily Declan Smith saw it coming.
It is the interesting thing with this Lions team as well, is because a lot of these guys have been playing together for so long, they just sort of know how to react in certain situations. When a quick free kick comes, they know, all right, well, the pass is going to be played here, there, I should be making a run here. And it really is telling in games like this as well, where they can sort of take that extra step forward when it's almost playing more with anticipation than anything else. Well, just winds up on the ground again.
No doubt the Moreton City bench hoping he was able to turn Jackson Hart-Phillips there in the end. Pangeli will make the run forward for Lions. Declan Smith cuts out the attacking avenue. Here's Skinner keeping the ball inside the white lines as he knocks it back for Duckworth. Pangeli opts with the left foot. Damon Anderson had all bases covered, and it will be another corner for Lions.
Pressure is building here as we're in the final 30 seconds of normal time in the first half. We probably should have a couple of minutes added on. And for Moreton City, just repelling this threat now is so important. It's a different team talk going into halftime when you're down 1-0 as opposed to 2-0.
Foster punches, and the shot from Edinak just rolling over his boot. Ramazani spots Sean Carlos, and all the way back to help his side out is Marquez Walters. Hasn't been as influential tonight, struggling to get on the ball and find some rhythm, Marquez Walters.
And here on Knapp just exchanging pleasantries as they battle for the throw-in.
Scott, Donnelly-Fagan, Sayers looking to get a little more aggressive as the half comes to a close. Bernardi. Walters. Pangeli now.
No, well, only Beakhurst was there in front of him, so he's gone to Jared, who is out on the right wing, apparently.
And a good break for Moreton City if Holiday wants to get things moving. trying to use his pace. Tommy Jarrett fouling. And once again, another frustrated player after their challenge. Ben Holiday going to ground. And Max Crane, to be fair, has done a relatively sound job tonight to try and just keep tempers from boiling over.
I'm glad I'm not in his position as well, because from the outset you could tell there was going to be a little bit of spice to this match, a little bit of back and forth, and he's done what he can to try and keep it under control, even if the free kicks might not have been the most popular decisions.
So now Scott backed into a corner and just loses his footing, Joe Scott.
Well, I think you're seeing the impact of the rain we had about a week and a half ago as well on this pitch. It's patchy in certain spots, and well, the fact that we've been able to just get this up to playing standard as well, because you can see, especially in the foreground, not much you can do when the weather comes in. Successful tackle for the turf monster, as Dorian looks like he might be cramping.
Well, there's not too long to go in this first half. And Max Crane just coming to have a chat with Berean.
Perhaps saying, if you're cramping, go down and we'll actually stop the match. But if you're just going to stand there and just having a discussion with the fans on the deck.
Well, Adenat pushing it forward, and that is the end of the first half. Andy Pengelly, the difference. James Coughlin, your assessment of the first 45.
It's been tense, it's been tight, and it's been decided by that man so far, Andy Pengelly. A whole lot to play for in the second half, and it really could go either way. Lions, the dominant side, if you're scoring it on points, you'd be giving it to them, but Moreton City have certainly had their moments.
It's been a fiery cup final to begin. Half-time in the Kappa Queensland Cup final here at Imperial Corp Stadium. It is Moreton City Excelsior 0, Lions FC 1.
The Socceroos are coming to Queensland. Round 3 of Asia's FIFA World Cup qualification kicks off on Thursday, September 5th, when Australia host Bahrain at Rabina Stadium on the Gold Coast. Be a part of it as we look to make history and keep our perfect qualification record going.
It's a glorious goal!
Search Socceroos for tickets.
Felton Industries is proud to be the official shelter and grandstands partner of Football Queensland. Felton offers a range of premium aluminium grandstands, from elite portable spectator seating to soccer team shelters for players and coaches. Give your fans the best view of the game with Felton's comfortable spectator seating. With sun-safe shelters, all powder-coated in your team colours. Whatever your club needs, Felton has a high-quality, low-maintenance seating option to suit. We are the pioneers in Australian-made grandstands and team shelters. Contact Felton today on 1800 834 016 or visit felton.net.au.
Welcome back to Imperial Corp Stadium for the Kappa Queensland Cup final between Moreton City Excelsior and Lions FC. That is what is on offer. As Sean Carlos got proceedings underway with a nice strike, forcing a stop from Nathan Foster. As we run through the highlights in the first 45, it was a tight, intense battle. Pengelly the difference.
It was, and here you can see Jack Skinner, that live wire presence on the left wing. Josh Brindle South taking the shot. Well, he might have actually taken a bit of a deflection on the way through. Ben Holiday, the live wire presence for Moreton City, gets a cutback.
And it wasn't short of controversial moments, as this was one of the best chances for Moreton City Excelsior. Declan Smith rising above all. Kierpal with the Rabona. There were party tricks on show. And this was the goal.
And it was a well-worked free kick. It was Duckworth with the delivery, Tommy Jarrett with a header back across and finding Pengelly. He's tough to stop on a good day, let alone when he's about 3 yards out. And here is a big moment of the first half, the penalty shout. Jack Skinner on Joe Scott. I mean, for me, it looks like he's clipped him there and didn't get any of the ball. I would say penalty, but that's just me.
It was controversial and contentious, and that lit a spark in this match. From then on in, both sides weren't willing to give an inch. Luke Breen with one of the saves of the season, suspended in midair and got a right mitt to it.
Well, he just had to get a fingertip to it, and he did, just enough to get it off the crossbar and keep that 1-0 scoreline intact.
So we are here at half-time as the Little Legends turn it on in Imperial Corp Stadium. And there's a second 45 minutes which will promise a lot coming up. Two teams who have felt each other out in the opening 20 minutes of that match. It then started to catch a light, and now it will be a quick dash home, considering Moreton City Excelsior are behind and chasing the game.
For sure, and I've also got my own the players that were booked in the first half as well. They've all been playing. It's been a very tense game. Part of me thinks we're actually only we're lucky to only have 4 yellow cards. Donnelly Fagan, Kierpal for Moreton City, Duckworth, and Ontignap for Lions, and I feel like there's going to be a lot more to come, a lot more challenges flying in the second half. And thankfully the challenges here are a little bit less rough and tumble as the mini matches take place.
So, half-time here at the Kappa Queensland Cup final. Moreton City Excelsior down by a goal. Andy Pengelly's header at the half an hour mark is all that splits these two sides. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after the break.
The Socceroos are coming to Queensland. Round 3 of Asia's FIFA World Cup qualification kicks off on Thursday, September 5th, when Australia host Bahrain at Robina Stadium on the Gold Coast. Be a part of it as we look to make history and keep our perfect qualification record going.
It's a glorious goal!
Search Socceroos for tickets.
Felton Industries is proud to be the official shelter and grandstands partner of Football Queensland. Felton offers a range of premium aluminium grandstands, from elite portable spectator seating to soccer team shelters for players and coaches. Give your fans the best view of the game with Felton's comfortable spectator seating. With sun-safe shelters, all powder-coated in your team colours. Whatever your club needs, Felton has a high-quality, low-maintenance seating option to suit. We are the pioneers in Australian-made grandstands and team shelters. Contact Felton today on 1800 834 016 or visit felton.net.au.
Imperial Corp Stadium is the setting. Kappa Queensland Cup Final is the match. Moreton City Excelsior and Lions FC the contributors as we get ready to rock and roll for the second 45 minutes. Managers have done all they can now, James. It's up to the players.
It certainly is, and this is a game that is very much in the balance. If you're Darren Syme, you're saying that the game is not won yet. We're only one goal up. It might be enough, but it probably won't be. Meanwhile, for Cam Miller, it's going to be a really big team talk as well, having lost last year's grand final 1-0 to a first half goal in that match as well. It seems like he's going to be ringing the changes as the second half comes into, approaches kickoff.
So if you are just joining us, four yellow cards in this match. That really didn't come to the floor until after the 25th, 30th minute mark. That's when both sides started to really put the pressure on. And Annie Pangeli, the goal scorer for Lions, a header off a free kick, which was via Tommy Jarrett.
It was a well-worked move as well. Moreton City may not love the awarding of the free kick in the first place. You see some of the Lions women's team who were defeated in that Women's Cup final as Moreton City's changes are now coming on. They're eager for the second half to start. I haven't quite seen the Lions men's side yet.
Yeah, so Seitai Murai is coming on. So too Chris Marr. Both play in and around the midfield. Chris Marr with plenty of experience. 4 seasons with Moreton City Excelsior and close to a decade of experience in the National Premier League's Queensland. As for Seitai Murai, well, experience with J2 in the J2 League with Tokyo Verdy Academy, and he signed with Moreton City from Japan as Lions FC will now make their way back out onto Imperial Corp Stadium. The earlier matches, it was a feast of football. This is, well, we've had 3 courses. This is now, what do you call this? A midnight snack almost. You've had the entree, main, dessert, and now you have the men's Kappa Queensland Cup final.
Well, being a borderline carnivore, this is just the 4th meat course for me.
I like it. So we had under-18 boys. Rochdale Rovers 1, Moreton City Excelsior 2. They already have some silverware to their name. That was at 11 a.m. rather this morning. The under-18 girls took place. Brisbane City 1, Sunshine Coast Wanderers 2. Same scoreline as the under-18 boys, the under-18 girls. 1:30 p.m. that took place. And in the women's game, Lions 0. Gold Coast Knights 3. That kicked off at 4 p.m. Interesting to note, an omen, if we do talk omens, Lions FC, by default, the away side, all 3 away sides have won today at Imperial Corp Stadium.
Well, it is interesting. All 3 away sides. It's almost like grand final day last year where 3 of the 4 games were won 1-0. And they were won by every team that scored first as well, which is bound to happen when 3 of the 4 games finish 1-0, as I just think out loud now as Sean Carlos just reintroduces himself to Marquez Walters, and Miller's withdrawn 2 of his yellow card players.
So the second half is underway. Moreton City Excelsior with a lot to do as they look to climb this uphill battle. Lions FC will be hoping to hold on for their second piece of silverware in 2024.
And the big thing I'm looking for in this second half is you wonder if that 15 or so minutes just sitting in the sheds, just having time to cool off, might take a little bit of the tension out of this game as well, because they were right at each other for the opening 45 minutes. And I wonder if now maybe they're going to settle in a little bit more and play a bit more football.
So something to watch. How much of a difference does Seitai Murai and Chris Marr bring as Cameron Miller looks to the bench? And Lions starting off the way they started the first half, in control, in possession, just staying patient with the ball as Beakhurst couldn't make claim to that. And Foster goes aerial as he spots Joe Scott upfield. Now Walters deciding to take on the defence. Marquez Walters. He just couldn't keep possession.
There's too many orange jerseys around him in the end as Walters just found himself crowded out. Now Lions going the other way.
It's a strong start from Bernardi on Finn Beakhurst. Finn Beakhurst, you would say, had the better of the left-hand defence for Moreton City Excelsior in that first half. They made some inroads down that channel.
They did, and I can't help but wonder if they went back to what worked so well in that round 7 clash, attacking the wings, trying to get in behind the fullbacks, with Moreton City going with their 3 centre-back setup.
So Anderson trying to just hold off Jack Skinner. It will eventually fall for a Moreton City Excelsior throw. And goals haven't necessarily been a problem for Moreton City this year. 10 different goal scorers across the Kappa Queensland Cup campaign. Zach Hirpel, their leader, with 6. Marquez Walters finishing second in the Golden Boot race in the National Premier League's Queensland with 21 goals. He is obviously still out there up top for Moreton City Excelsior.
And that is an interesting tactical change to start this second half as well. They're operating now with just a single focal point striker in Marquez Walters.
There's Holiday chipping it over the top, Berean slapping it away. It just wouldn't behave for Joe Scott. That is one of the more unorthodox moments you'll see.
Well, that is pretty much Luke Berean summed up perfectly. It's unorthodox but unbelievably effective, and that is why he's had such a successful career at NPL level and FQPL in his season with the Strikers too.
And Lions found the Kappa Queensland Cup. I won't say easy, but they certainly never looked out of place or out of rhythm throughout the course of it. In the 4th round, they came up against the Kingscliff Wolves, finished them off 4-1. 2-0 against Peninsula Power in the 5th round. The 6th round was a 5-3 win over Maroochydore Swans, who took it to them. However, Lions did lead 4-1 after the 31st minute. And then in the quarterfinal, they dusted off Surfers Paradise Apollo. And the semi-final was a 2-1 win against Olympic, where they did sit 2 goals to the good after 11 minutes in that match. They certainly found it a little more easier than the Kappa Pro Series run they went on, and they picked up the chocolates in that competition, so they'll certainly be hoping.
What a ball to pick out Murai.
Holiday. Pangeli claiming the last touch was off Ben Holiday. He won't get the call, and Moreton City Excelsior will flood numbers forward for an opportunity.
We did just mention that semi-final against Olympic. Josh, I've got a bit of trivia for you, or a guessing game for you. Have a guess who scored both of the Lions' goals that night.
A. Pangeli.
How did you know? It was an educated guess, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, it's a long delivery. Declan Smith.
Oh, Duckworth.
He felt as though he felt some contact from behind. Max Crane had a good look at it. Happy to let play continue.
Yeah, and you can almost understand both cases in that situation. Smith definitely would have felt the contact, but he's a big boy, as you see the replay. It was collected late, but that would have been necessarily enough for a penalty in my mind. I'll defer to the man who's a little bit closer to the action than we are.
Well, some may say Joe Duckworth was just doing his best there. Very well and truly out of his weight range there between him and Declan Smith. A couple of centimetres shorter than the captain of Moreton City Excelsior, who has so much experience, and a big night for him, of course. As he turns the ball over, Sean Carlos! Nathan Foster this time got a glove to things and denied Lions second.
Well, we've seen Borean make a couple of huge saves, and now Foster coming up big to keep Moreton City down by just the 1 goal.
As I was mentioning before, Declan Smith had a moment he'd rather forget. He's one of the stalwarts of this club up in the Moreton area, as he joined Moreton Bay United Academy in under-12s, over 100 NPL games for Moreton Bay United.
Joe Scott's down in the centre circle after that collision with Duckworth, and well, he's stayed down as physio is coming on to assess the injury.
Well, if you're Cameron Miller, you're probably hoping obviously you're hoping Joe Scott is A-OK, but more importantly, because he made the substitutions not that long ago, and now if Joe Scott is to be taken off, it will be a restructure of all restructures.
And Joe Duckworth was very quick to apologise for that challenge as well. So I think he knew he might have gotten away with what could have been a foul there. I don't think it would have been anything more than that. Although, again, in this game, it is a little bit up for grabs in terms of what it could be as Ramazani gets some instructions and, most importantly, a drink of water on this muggy night. Scott makes his way off.
He seems to be moving okay, Joe Scott, and looks as though he will return once again, which is good news for Moreton City Excelsior.
Anderson just getting instructed to take the throw in and send it back to Ramazani.
Bernardi just shielding it away from Beekhurst, and Beekhurst got the result he wanted. He forces the throw in for Moreton City Excelsior.
That's one of those little subtle plays that doesn't always get the recognition it deserves, but making sure that it's a throw in and not the goal kick, so it's not as easy to clear it out of their half.
And Ma spotting an opportunity. Just no one forward there for Moreton City as it's another long ball for Skinner. Damon Anderson has his hands full. And it is a free kick. Damon Anderson a little confused as to how. The Lions aren't complaining.
Not this time.
And it's another dead ball opportunity for Lions. That's how they created their first goal. Moreton City Excelsior must be very vigilant as to what is to come.
As it stands, no players around Nathan Foster. Getting set to make their runs. 5 targets to aim for in the 18-yard box already.
It's an in-swinging delivery. It's overcooked. And Nathan Foster will have to jump the back fence if he wants to collect that ball.
A little bit too much club on that one.
So look to play out from the back once again, Moreton City Excelsior. Here's Reece Gwynn-Jones. Had an opportunity in the first half he couldn't capitalise on. Now Skinner getting the ball back for Lions. You just feel with Zach Kierpal taken from the field, a lot of the weight falls on Marquez Walters.
But from what I know, speaking to Walters in the past, this is a situation he relishes. His side is down 1-0 in a final. He's not afraid to try the spectacular. I go back to last year's NPL Grand Final with the attempted bicycle kick in the 93rd minute or whatever it was to try and send it to extra time. And from memory, I think you, myself, we were all about ready to lose our collective minds had that have gone in. And I don't think we would have been alone there either.
Smith. Ma. And Duckworth just doing enough to let Skinner roam forward. Anderson again pursuing Jack Skinner. Duckworth. Misdirected ball.
That is actually the other change with those halftime substitutions. It almost looks like Moreton City have now gone to 4 at the back, a flat 4 defensively, with Bernardi moving over to left back and Holiday pushing up into midfield a little bit more. Jones and Smith, the central defensive pairing, and Anderson is an out-and-out right back now.
They have more work on their hands. Through Beekhurst. Declan Smith, again, losing his footing in that corner of the field. We saw Joe Scott fall in a similar capacity at the end of the first half.
There is a big divot that has been left by Declan Smith in that area of the pitch, and it's come at the cost of the corner as Beakhurst comes over to take with Brindle South.
So out comes Tommy Jarrett along with Hassan Ramazani. They opt short for Brindle South. And Brindle South just stretching. Seitai Murai getting the better of the contest. Scott picks up Murai. And now Holiday has to wait for the floating pass to arrive. Walters making his move.
It's going to be a fun battle to track Jack Skinner, not one to back down. Does seem like things have simmered a little bit in this second half as well. It's not quite as fiery as those opening exchanges.
Feels as though Moreton City Excelsior have a little more direction as to how they want to go about things. Sayers extending the arm. Sayers just trying to poke it over the top. Holiday gave up on it. Marquez Walters wasn't in the vicinity.
Those two were set to run in different channels, and it sort of split the difference between the two. Oh, just couldn't stretch out for that ball as it escaped him, and now Lions going on the attack.
Carlos pushing forward. Pengelly. It was a tight space. He had to control the ball in, and it was fired at him quite hard. Brindle South. Ball still in play as they venture down this right-hand edge. Here's Beakhurst. They're lining up. It's Andy Pengelly. Lions are 2 to the goods. And it is Andy Pengelly, the main man, wearing the number 9 tonight.
And he was expected to deliver on this stage, Andy Pengelly, and he's done it. The first goal was from right in the 6-yard box. This one from outside the 18, and he placed that strike perfectly into the bottom corner to double the advantage for Lions. But how about this move down the right side, the pass to find Beakhurst, and that well-weighted spot to the top of the 18-yard box. And Pengelly, he made no mistake. Again, he is automatic. He scored the 2 goals to get them into the final. And now he's got the 2 goals that could help them win the final. I'm not saying will, I'm saying could, because we've still got a lot of football to go.
Yeah, the talisman for Lions stepping up just on the edge of the penalty area. Makes absolutely no mistake. And just like that, Lions take another step in a winning direction. And Moreton City Excelsior have it all to do here.
And it was just as we were talking about Moreton City looking a little bit more settled in this second half as well. And the chances will come for Moreton City. It's just a case of, can they make them count? Lions have had the weight of opportunity so far, but will Lions give them an opening? Because if they do, we know Moreton City can score for fun.
Sayers has Duckworth on his tail. Here's Joe Scott. Holiday just won't reach the ball in time. Holiday. Murai trying to find an angle, and Berean with his fingertips collects that one.
I don't know if he could have shot that anywhere else and gotten it through that wall of orange that was in front of him, Murai. It was pretty much through the wall and straight into the hands of Borean.
Here it is on the replay, just sending them every which way before pulling the trigger. Seitai Murai. Now Duckworth just loses track of it. Declan Smith trying to keep his footing. And that ball landed in Berean's grasp. And we did discuss it in the intro. The headline waiting to be written is Moreton City Excelsior's recent history in finals and in important matches. Of course, if we go back to last year, finished second and lost the grand final to Gold Coast Knights. They lost the semi-final in the Kappa Pro Series, didn't make the finals appearance. If we look at this year, they finished second again. They're still in the championship hunt, of course, but they miss out in the Kappa Pro Series again, and now they're in the final tonight for the Kappa Queensland Cup. An important night tonight, as Marquez Walters fires it into Ramazani, calls for a handball. Holiday wants to keep play alive. Scott lashes at it. And they are trying to write their own narrative here, Moreton City Excelsior.
And it had to be Ramazani with that block again. They were throwing their bodies at shots in the first half, and that is a desperation they're going to need to hold on over the next half hour or so, Lions.
So Sayers. And that's Declan Smith. He's had a heavier involvement so far to begin. Lockie Sayers. Now Skinner. Pangeli. Damon Anderson getting a foot involved. He and Holiday try and work Moreton City outside of that tight area. And now Ma with a bit of force, as Walters was not fouled. Ramazani with a clean challenge. Pangeli trying to dupe Reece Gwynn-Jones. Now it's Scott. Murai. There's an opportunity brewing for Moreton City Excelsior. Murai trying to catch up to that ball. It was Reece Gwynn-Jones with the ball playing, and there will be a Lions goal kick as we have Luke Broderick along with Matt Rydenton ready to enter the field of play.
And this is that time of the match where these subs can play a crucial role, not just in the context of this match, but also in the context of the next week and a half, because you've got Australia Cup action for both of these clubs coming up midweek. Lions at home on Tuesday night. Moreton City Excelsior hosting a match at Perry Park on Wednesday night. That's going to be a fun couple of nights. And then they've got semi-final action next weekend as well. So they want to do everything they can to win tonight. Pangeli has done everything he can to help Lions win tonight. But you've also got to look at the bigger picture as well. And there are more big matches to come for both of these sides.
And while we have a moment, we must give Pangeli his flowers, as he does deserve it. An exceptional performance in the opening hour of this match. 2 goals, which gives Lions the lead as they are on the hunt for more. It's been Beakhurst. Nathan Foster called into action again.
Another big save, this time again by Foster. The goalkeepers have been busy tonight, and it was a well-worked save by Foster, not just to get it away, as Beakhurst see that tracer bullet towards the far post, but also palming it away from a potential rebound, even if it did come at the cost of the corner.
Yeah, so Matt Rydenton, the fresh set of legs on for Lions, returned to the matchday squad last weekend against Gold Coast Knights after a long layoff. And Luke Broderick, who was the man of the moment in the Kappa Pro Series final, scoring the winning goal against Gold Coast United at Goodwin Park to give Lions their first piece of silverware for 2024. Out there now too.
A couple of nice subs to call on if you're Darren Syme as well, and just a testament to the depth that they've accumulated.
Now Skinner putting the defenders in 2 minds, and then it will flash by the post, and a corner is the call.
As Foster must have gotten a fingertip to that one. Just playing it safe. I'm not sure that was going on going towards the goal, but in a situation like that, you don't want to be the keeper that lets it go.
Jack Skinner, notorious from that part of the field, whether it's assisting or scoring. On a couple of occasions throughout the year, he has pulled the trigger from that distance and made oppositions pay. As Ryan Denton stands over it, he will be the one to make the decision from the corner. Foster lost grip of it. And now Walters trying to shovel away Josh Brindle South. The free kick is ensuing after Brindle South grabbing a handful of that jersey.
Well, it was a veteran's foul, I think we'll call that, from Brindle South, making sure Walters couldn't do too much damage down in the Lions' half, but Moreton City continuing to play on quickly.
And the story for Moreton City Excelsior in the other cup competition, 1 or 5 group games, won the quarterfinal 1-0 against Wanderers, and then they lost the semi-final to Gold Coast United. And they'll be hoping for a bit more bang for their buck in this cup run. Of course, they are one of the heavyweights in it, as Gwyn Jones trying to get cute there. Tommy Jarrett stands in the way. Now Declan Smith trying to find his main man in Walters. And Brindle South happy to see that over the sideline.
Brindle South, well, it looked like he was battling in the first half, but he's held up very, very well. This whole Lions back line deserves their plaudits for their efforts so far tonight. Ramazani with a couple of key blocks. Brindle South just marshalling that right side very effectively. And so far, it's worked a treat for Darren Simon. Should mention as well Tommy Jarrett. He missed a few months and looks like he hasn't missed a beat on his return to action.
So Nick Bernardi winding up. Joe Duckworth not afraid to get in front of it and muscle out Bernardi. Here's Broderick. And Chris Marr does well to push some calm and composure into the flow of Moreton City Excelsior. As Walters just lacking the touch. Sayers does well to evade the challenges. Free kick going the way of Moreton City Excelsior.
And this is where it's going to be incredibly tough for Max Crane and the entire officiating team as well, where Lions are going to be more than happy to give up fouls in this sort of area of the pitch as well. It's not the most dangerous spot for a free kick, but it is going to be tough because he's going to have to try and maintain some sort of control, especially as the frustration builds from Moreton City and Lions know they're getting close to another trophy.
20 minutes remaining in the Kappa Queensland Cup final. Holiday can only get it as far as Renat. Sayers dances his way by Skinner. Now Anderson put under some pressure, but does well. It's a long floated ball. Holiday trying to wrestle it to ground.
Declan Smith has stayed forward as well. He has played striker for Moreton Bay in the past, so he's trying to find the goal.
Mirai. Marquez Walters stops, props, hits the crossbar. The save by Berean in between all of that. Lions get away with the absolute chance of the match for Moreton City Excelsior. Now it's Scott winding up. Declan Smith bouncing it in towards Luke Berean. Hands on head stuff.
Well, in a cup final, you need plenty of skill, plenty of luck as well. And that has been the case for Lions with a couple of these Moreton City chances that just won't go in. I thought that was the moment for Walters, and then on the follow-up, straight into the crossbar. It just isn't going in.
When Cameron Miller will sit down to dissect this game, as we do have a pause in play, Luke Berean just feeling out what seems to be a right leg, perhaps.
Again, we had that in the first half as well, just before half-time. I think that was the leg that was cramping up.
while we do wait for Max Crane and co to sort out the situation, when Caramella goes to sit down, he'll see a gilt-edged opportunity, almost missed, one would say, from Marquez Walters in that scenario. A bit of luck falling the way of Lions. A penalty shout gone missing, and another Luke Berean save in the first half where he was keeping Joe Scott at bay.
And you've got to give credit, though, to Luke Berean here. And off the follow-up, I think it might have actually taken another touch off Berean as well. So a double save from the Lions shot stopper, who thus far has definitely rewarded Darren Symes' faith, choosing him to start this match.
And we're being treated tonight from some of the best. A brilliant camera angle there, just showing exactly what unfolded inside the penalty area.
And his chances will come. We did say chances will come for Moreton City. It's just, can they capitalise on them as well? And that was as good as it has been for them all evening. And while we've got this injury stoppage as well, we probably should give a moment to pay tribute to a Lions legend, Marielle Hecker, who is retiring at the end of this A-League women's season. I'm guessing she's watching on from over in Brazil at the moment. There's 108 appearances, 6 Player of the Year awards, God knows how many trophies. And a pretty successful time with the Brisbane Roar as well, as she's grown into one of the key players in the A-League women's side for, well, now Alex Smith.
Well, we've been treated to her services here in Queensland as Josh Hong replacing Joe Scott in the run home.
Oh, that set-piece wizardry has gone from Joe Scott as Ben Holliday just giving some encouragement to Walters, wanting him to keep his head up, and those moments will continue to come for the young striker. Came through the Roar Academy, Brisbane City, also spent some time down in NPL Victoria, where in just under a month's time we'll be playing the NPL All-Star game between Queensland and Victoria. There is Cardiff Pond, who is watching on and perhaps wondering, is he going to have to come in and close out this game? It's almost like a baseball situation where you've got the closing pitcher set to come in to win the match after the starter's gone, let's say 7.5 innings, looking at the clock.
Well, all signals from the trainer suggest Luke Moreton will be okay, but Cardiff Pond certainly up and about just in case he is required. Josh Hong, who has just joined the ensemble, has spent time a part of the Central Coast Mariners system. Moreton Bay United Junior returning for Moreton City Excelsior, and it looks as though play will once again get restarted.
And the goalkeeper is the one player that you can't send off to the side of the pitch for treatment and let play continue. That is one of those things that would be deemed as an unfair advantage, but Berean, he's tough. He knows how to close these games out, and he knows that he is getting close to another winner's medal. He's certainly done his part with some massive saves. One off Joe Scott, a couple off Marquez Walters, and sometimes for a striker, you just cannot get by a goalkeeper who has just decided to go to the next level.
So we've had goals in all games today here at Imperial Corp Stadium. And this one no different. As Hong, with one of his first touches. Murai spots Damon Anderson. And it's a contest for the ball, both wrestling each other. Max Crane just allowing play to unfold. Reece Quinn-Jones now.
That one I didn't mind letting go because it did feel like it was 6 of one, half dozen of the other. You couldn't really penalise one player and let the other part go. It was a bit of push and shove and just competing for the ball. I'm sure some referees will disagree and have their own opinions on it.
So Reece Quinn-Jones getting proactive. Walters. Oh, he thought about it, did Marquez Walters. Just wasn't happy with the bounce of the ball. Holiday brought to ground. And Jackson Hart-Phillips doing a very sound job. He's someone we highlighted, and he's been an unsung hero so far for Lions FC. The whole back five really have gone above and beyond tonight.
Well, it has all started from the work at the back, blocking shots, starting attacks, and just trying to play fundamentally sound. Haven't made too many big mistakes. It's Broderick.
So the shot straying wide.
Took it a touch for a corner.
Yes, it will be a corner. Luke Broderick has fitted into this final third system very nicely for Lions throughout the year. Just bringing a point of difference, certainly complementing the likes of Fechner, Skinner, Pangeli.
And he's come in, he started a few games here and there, and he's played wing, right wing, left wing, striker. He's just sort of that Mr. Fix-It fourth attacking option.
So he is forward. So too Ry Denton, Tommy Jarrett, Jack Skinner in the mix. B. Curse with the delivery. Broderick rises, Ry Denton. It's chipped over the top for Jack Skinner. And it comes off the side of the boot. He was hoping for a much better purchase on the flight of that ball.
Just got a little bit too much slice on that one. Did Jack Skinner. It was actually quite smartly clipped to the back post area by Brindle South, and he was trying to thread the needle that little bit too much there, and a free kick now for Lions. And for Lions now, they know they've got the clock on their side. Moreton City, they're almost playing two opponents with Lions and the clock. It's, well, 11 and a half minutes, but probably have a few stoppages added on given the injury breaks. Anyway, it's fast approaching, now or never time. Go for broke. All out attack, I think it's a setting
On FIFA?
EA Sports FC now.
So the Lions army getting behind their side. Declan Smith saw it late. And the man with the captain's armband has had a rough night at the office.
He's been busy, that's for sure.
Foster. Got a glove to it. And Sayers certainly Broderick. Duckworth just trying to create an angle. Josh Hong will see it over the byline.
Well, not wasting any time, Moreton City. Well, it takes his one gilt-edged chance to turn this game on its head. So, well, thinking of switching off. Stay with us. We've got a whole lot more action to come, surely, in the next 15 or so minutes.
Declan Smith trying to keep possession. He may have just done just that, and he got out of trouble there. A bit like Houdini, it was fantastic work from Declan Smith. Now Hong can't find Bernardi. Here come Lions. Broderick extending the boot. It was a wayward touch, just trying to reel it in.
It was a hopeful touch there. He was trying to play it through, but I think it was just on him a little bit quickly. And when you're running at full speed, taking that controlled first touch can be quite difficult.
So Murai looking to set up shop. Bernardi. Chris Marr. They've certainly locked the front door tonight, Lions. There's been no easy access.
That being said, Moreton City have tried their darndest to knock it down. Scott had that header. Walters had a couple of chances. It just hasn't gone their way tonight. And it's a nice reminder that football really can be a cruel game when you consider the success that Moreton City have had over the last couple of years. And it's just been a case of close, but not quite close enough. but they won't have too much time to
Josh.
rue their misfortune either, where they've got Australia Cup midweek, semi-final coming up next week. Moreton City will be hosting Penn Power, a local derby of sorts up there, even though it's not really next-door neighbours. The Lions are travelling down to Carrara to take on Gold Coast Knights in their semi-final.
Ma just sat off that one. Sayers, that was a vital touch. Can they reap some rewards here? Moreton City Excelsior. Hong finds Bernardi. Plays in the area. Walters had to watch Jack Skinner assume possession. Here is Walters. He was pulled to ground. Jackson Hart-Phillips, the man making the contact. And now Pranav Vallabh will come on for Darren Syme in the final exchanges of this one.
Looks like Cam Miller is making his final changes ready as well.
Will Edmonston, along with Jack McAnally, the fresh faces for Moreton City Excelsior.
Finn Beakhurst coming off 4 lines. He's got through a mountain of work and he's done his job.
So, Will Edmonston, a Moreton City Excelsior junior, made his senior debut back in 2020. And Jack McAnally has played for a couple of National Premier League's Queensland clubs and now finds himself in the middle of a Kappa Queensland Cup final. As Holiday chips it up. And it just doesn't have enough depth, unfortunately, to get over that orange wall. Holiday will continue the attack for Moreton City. And they earn the corner. Is this just the call they need? That little bit of luck to swing momentum, to swing the tide.
And those little moments have been the difference in this game as well. A well-placed pass, a fortunate free kick for the first goal that resulted in a brilliantly worked set piece, it has to be said, and an inch-perfect pass to set up Pengelly for the second goal. That's where we're at right now. Moreton City haven't been able to take advantage of their opportunities yet.
They rise high. That was an opportunity. Gwyn Jones almost snuck the ball back. And now McAnally with his first touch and involvement of the match. There is still time. Crazier things have certainly happened. And no doubt Moreton City Excelsior will have belief.
And there will be a fair bit of stoppage time added on as well. I think the stoppage for Borean alone was a good 4 minutes, so you would be expecting at the very least that much.
Edmonston.
So there is still time for Moreton City.
Now it's Ma. Here's McAnally. Coming back in field. And again, they're forced to go from sideline to sideline, Moreton City Excelsior. Ma.
I don't think they're going to be able to pass their way through this Lions defence. Someone's going to have to take them on.
Holiday with the bending ball, and Will Edmonston doing his best. But Luke Breen happy to see that one bounce away.
Playing ball boy there for Borean, and not too much time wasting on that one.
Max Crane stamped his authority early on in this match, and while it did disrupt a bit of the rhythm and momentum, in hindsight, probably the right way to go about his duties tonight. Yet to see a yellow card in this second half. Can they get moving in the right direction, Moreton City? McAnally, a square ball. Here's Ma. Murray. Damon Anderson forced a chase. Brindle South has that covered. Corner the call.
Much to the surprise of Brindle South, he feels like he was fouled there.
They'll take their positions. Moreton City Excelsior. Chris Marr with the duties. Reece Gwynn-Jones and Declan Smith are the two main men for Moreton City Excelsior in this position. Up it goes. It's Ben Holiday. A very uncharacteristic moment.
It's still in. No, it's not. Hole the ball over the hole of the line.
Ben Holiday, one of Moreton City Excelsior's best throughout, not only this year, certainly 2023 as well. Unfortunate to miss out of the finals campaign last time round. This time he is certainly well and truly in the fray, but just as I mentioned, uncharacteristic moment for him. Walters, Hong. Holiday with some space. McAnally making the run. He does well to flick it over the top. Gwynn-Jones, Marr, Murai. This is good. This is much better from Moreton City.
And he raises his arm in apology, Declan Smith. He thought his left back, Anderson, would be there, but Anderson had pushed forward, and it's now a throw-in for Lions as Mr. Crane just raises his watch, telling Brindle South to hurry up, as this actually has a very similar feeling to that round 7 clash as well, where Brindle South got a yellow card for something very similar, taking every last second available to him at throw-ins, free kicks, or whatever.
Broderick hustling. Moreton City Excelsior profiting momentarily, perhaps. McAnally cleans up the scraps. How much fight do they have left in Moreton City? It's time to go. Holiday. Marquez Walters hits the deck. Ramazani rescuing the situation.
Do you send the keeper up here, Josh? A long way to go.
Flip of the coin.
Well, it's a throw in, so probably not sending the keeper. I thought that went out for a corner, so my mistake, sorry.
Nathan Foster certainly wants to get involved. Not much he can do. From this moment forward, you feel as though Moreton City will hold the weight of field possession and possession in general, as Lions look to manage out the remainder of this match. Broderick won't give up pursuit, the flag raising.
I think he knew he was offside there, but he also knew that maybe he can just force a bit of a reset. As Marr will take the free kick. 6 minutes of time added on.
Will certainly be music to the ears of Cameron Miller and co. Just how much promise does it give this Moreton City Excelsior outfit that have played second fiddle time and time again. Murai. The bounce of the ball just not falling their way. Rye Denton trying to eat into the meters on offer. Here's Skinner. Valab pushing it forward for Broderick. Reece Gwynn-Jones hoping for Nathan Foster to come out and collect. He didn't oblige. And Jackson Hart-Phillips with a indiscretion there.
And I don't know if that was necessarily on purpose, just to try and disrupt Moreton City going forward, but there's going to be a yellow card shown now to Luke Broderick just for kicking the ball away. So that first booking of the second half comes in the 47th minute of the second half. And it's probably one he is very, very happy to take.
Damon Anderson. Did he grab too much of Josh Brindle South? Max Crane thought not. And again, Lions will go coast to coast here as Broderick trying to push off defenders. Oh, that is it. That is the killer blow. Lions are your inaugural Kappa Queensland Cup winners, and the deal is sealed by Luke Broderick.
And what a way to seal it. It was him against two defenders, Broderick. He got it onto his right foot, and he knew he was scoring there. And it was a tired attempt at a clearance. He got away from McAnally, just made enough space, and he threaded the ball right between two Moreton City defenders, and Foster got a hand to it, and he had no chance.
Joe Duckworth has led this side with all his heart, and they have followed tonight, Lions. From Borean's heroics, Andy Pangeli's prolific goal-scoring ability, the midfield working tirelessly, Darren Symes' game plan. It's all come together for the second time this year. A Kappa Pro Series final in the books, and a Kappa Queensland Cup final looks destined to head to Richlands.
And unlike the Kappa Pro Series final, that late goal from Broderick, not quite as consequential to the final scoreline.
In his first season with Lions FC, Luke Broderick signed from Brisbane Strikers. And aren't they happy he made the move?
Is that for a throw from Borean? He cleared the halfway.
If there are any positives for Moreton City Excelsior tonight, a dress rehearsal for what is to come.
It is, and I was saying this before as well, that it shouldn't take away from what has been a very successful season and two-season run under Cameron Millick when you consider how much they've grown as a side as well. And there is still a lot for them to play for. It's disappointing, yes. They've had their chances, but it is absolutely not the end of the world for them. They've still got a lot to fight for, starting with their midweek clash at Perry Park.
Yeah, so they do come up against Perth Glory, the Australia Cup round of 16. That is Wednesday night at Perry Park. Lions will be in action 24 hours earlier against Wanderers at Luxury Paint Stadium on your Tuesday night. So plenty of midweek football to serve up here. And then the semi-finals will get underway of the National Premier League's Queensland. But for Lions, 4 of 5 pieces of silverware are still on offer for them. They have the Kappa Pro Series in the books. The Kappa Queensland Cup look to be sewn up. All that's left is the National Premier League's Queensland Championship, and if they want it, the Australia Cup.
And Gwyn Jones, he has run himself into the ground, quite literally, and now he's paying the price for it with a little bout of cramp in the final couple of minutes. And they haven't been disgraced in this game as well. That scoreline, it's unfortunate, but it is definitely not a complete and total reflection as Walters goes close.
Yes, Walters dialing in on that near post. Unfortunately, it doesn't find the target. And so that is what is to come, and that's the state of Lions season. So far, so good for Moreton City Excelsior. Well, they'll certainly have their eyes on Wednesday night and then worry about the semi-final after that. But they're in the fight in 2024. Of course, Peninsula Power and Gold Coast Knights make up the top 4 of the National Premier League's Queensland. And Olympic is still in the hunt in the Australia Cup, of course, too.
That they are. That's my Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening viewing sorted for tomorrow.
So Anderson, Murai, picking up Walters.
Olympic semi-finalists in this competition as well. Lions know the party is just about ready to kick off.
Holiday whipping it in, and Edina rising above. Now it's Ry Denton. Here's Broderick. Do they have one more up their sleeve? Rydenton just pulling out of that. He wasn't ready to commit. It's been a big day here at Imperial Corp Stadium. 4 finals of the Kappa Queensland Cup. Lions will be the first to lift the Kappa Queensland Cup up. 2 trophies already in 2024, and they are on the hunt for more.
Well, it was a thoroughly deserved win in the end for Darren Syme and his men. Andy Pengelly, the star of the show up front. Luke Borean, the star at the other end of the pitch. Some massive saves to keep Moreton City away. And you can't really argue with that final scoreline as well. Moreton City, gallant in defeat. They had their moments as well, but unfortunately it just wasn't their night. They couldn't make those chances go in the back of the net. And his Lions celebrating once again.
So the storyline of tonight, in the 30th minute it was Andy Pengelly. In the 60th minute it was Andy Pengelly. And then to finish it all off, it was Luke Broderick to make it 3-0. This was the tale of the tape as we take a look back at the moments that mattered, the highlights throughout the match, as both sides just show each other the sign of respect deserved. Here it is.
It was such a well-worked free kick as well. Pengelly standing right there on the spot for that header back from Tommy Jarrod.
And that certainly got Lions trending in the right direction. You felt it coming. This a controversial moment, which will be talked about following on from this game. The penalty call that didn't go the way of Moreton City Excelsior would have changed the game dramatically.
It certainly would have, and it was still early enough in the game where you wonder what would have happened there. For me, it was a penalty. However, it certainly wasn't the be-all and end-all for either side in this match, with Moreton City unfortunately unable to capitalise on their chances, unlike Andy Pengelly here.
Yes, it was Pengelly queuing up on the edge of the penalty area, picked out his spot and blazed it home. Here was Seitai Murai finding Walters. What a chance this was. This would have pushed Moreton City Excelsior back into the match.
And just that second save there from Luke Borean as he got back up to his knees. It wasn't even his feet. And this was the one that sealed the match, as well as Luke Broderick with the press.
Yes, Luke Broderick had McAnally on his tail, and Nathan Foster couldn't reach it in time. And that was all she wrote for the Kappa Queensland Cup final.
And it's all happy days for Lions as it's high fives. Josh Brindle South, well, he's back at Richlands and he has plenty to celebrate. He's already lifted plenty of trophies for the club, and he'll be adding another winners medal to his collection, as many of the players will be. A very happy Darren Syme.
So what does this statement make to the rest of the competition?
Well, it's a reminder that Lions, they've undergone a bit of a revitalisation with a number of young players. Ramazani, Hart Phillips, well, I was going to say Andy Pengelly, but he's not really a young player anymore. But you look at the revitalisation of the squad, and that is the reward for them right there. The Perpetual Trophy and the 2024 Trophy. Rob Scanlon there in the jacket. He is the director at Lions. He's been the architect of a lot of this stuff as well, making sure the club just keeps rolling over, and he deserves a lot of credit as well. And, well, it's a one for 2 day for Lions as well, after the women's side just fell to Gold Coast Knights in that final just before. And now Darren Syme probably says, hey guys, great work, but we've got a bit more to do still.
From a neutral's perspective, what I learnt tonight is I can't wait for the final series. You have a 4th place Lions who, when you look at the ladder without context, you may consider them to be the lesser. However, of course, they are certainly not in that frame. But to know that your 4th place side, along with Peninsula Power, Moreton City Excelsior and Gold Coast Knights, are doing battle is very exciting.
It's all about the DNA, isn't it, for Lions? They've fought hard and they know how to win at this time of year. They've got the experience. They've got Duckworth. They've got Borean. They've got Tommy Jarrett, Sean Carlos. All of those guys have been here and done it before as well. And they know that, okay, the form wasn't great heading into this match, but they know how to flip the switch and get themselves into winning position when it matters most.
And it's the selfless attitude that these boys have. Cardiff Pond, happy to sit on the bench. He's played a leading role at the back for Lions throughout this season. He sits on the bench tonight. Matt Rye-Denton sits on the bench. Luke Broderick, who started many games this year, sits on the bench.
It's the players that weren't involved as well. They're all there in the tracksuits, supporting along. And you saw just how much it meant for Cardiff Pond after that Kappa Pro Series Grand Final. And here he's just watching on, riding all the emotion, and the Lions applauding their supporters. And we're almost ready for the presentation now. And actually, but before we do that, I just want to give a quick mention to Moreton City as well. Football, it's a cruel game. They've come second in so many things. Well, they've had a semi-final appearance in this competition. They made the national stage of the Australia Cup both years under Cameron Miller. And we've seen it here in Queensland. You look at Olympic when we're under Ben Kahn. 3 trips to the national stage of the Australia Cup. 5 straight NPL Grand Finals. And they didn't get the silverware to cap that run. And I'm not saying Moreton City exactly the same, but you do think, like, you have to remember this is a very, very good team, and when they do get that trophy, and I'm confident that they will, that's where it's really going to take off to another level as well. They're close. They are so close.
I'd love to be a fly in that huddle and just hearing Cameron Miller speak and the rest of the crew. As you said, they are very close. Easy to get disheartened after coming or falling short time and time again. Without us getting under the hood, which we aren't within the inner sanctum, of course, at Moreton City Excelsior, how do they approach this final series and the Australia Cup for that matter?
You've almost got to play with a little bit of freedom. They've done what they can now. They're not going to have any expectations come Wednesday night at Perry Park, and they're going to go in with a little bit of expectation for the semi-final, but it's really going to be just a case of, let's just have a bit of fun here. It's all they can do, because otherwise you get a bit too tight and it does sort of start to weigh on your mind.
So we do have the presentations for the Kappa Queensland Cup, live from Imperial Corp Stadium.
What a cracking game of football between 2 very good sides who've enjoyed spectacular seasons. Would you please put your hands together once again for Lions FC and Moreton City Excelsior. I'd also like to pass on our thanks to Brisbane City FC for hosting today's finals here at Imperial Corp Stadium. To Tony and his team, thank you very much on what's been a fantastic day of football. There's a lot of people who put significant effort in to make sure that events such as this run smoothly, but there's one constant across every single football game, and that is our match officials. They turn up every single week right across the state and do a fantastic job in often difficult circumstances. With that in mind, I'd like to ask our 4 match officials from today's men's final to please come forward and collect their final medal. Just over there. Please put your hands together once again. Unfortunately, in every final, ladies and gentlemen, that's a knockout cup competition such as this, there has to be a loser. To Cam Miller and his Moreton City Excelsior team, you boys have enjoyed a spectacular season, second in the league, through to the round of 16 in the Australia Cup, which we all look forward to supporting you against Perth Glory on Wednesday night, and plenty still to play for in the NPL men's final series as well. So we'd like to congratulate Cam and the boys, the rest of the staff and everybody involved with Moreton City Excelsior, and we'd like to invite you boys forward to receive your runners-up medals. fantastic season it has been for the men out in Richlands. Kappa Pro Series winners through to the round of 16 in the Australia Cup this week also, where they will take on Western Sydney Wanderers at home. And of course into another NPL men's final series. To Darren and the team, it's been another fantastic year. We've really enjoyed watching you guys play. And tonight, another piece of deserved silverware. Without further ado, I'd like to invite Lions captain Joe Duckworth to say a few words.
Just want to say firstly a big thank you to Brisbane City for putting on 4 finals in a day. Pretty special for us. Not every day you get to win a trophy with your biggest rival, so cheers for that. Football Queensland, thank you very much for hosting. It's always good. The addition of cup competitions, it always adds an extra incentive, an extra trophy for teams to win. Cam, Declan and Moreton Bay, you guys are a hell of a team. And look, the progress you've made in 2 years, you get into those finals, it's not long before you get your first one. You thoroughly deserve it. You're a very good team, and all the best on Wednesday with your A-League team. So all the best. Thank you very much for the big game. To our boys, seems to be the year of the Cup. Another one on the books for us. Obviously, you know the league finished the way it did, but we bounced back, and there's another trophy. We, we'll enjoy tonight. Another one in the year, and we'll get ready for Tuesday and go again down the Gold Coast on Saturday. So thanks again everyone for coming out. It's always fun performing in front of a crowd. It always makes it a little bit special. And yeah, thank you everyone.
Now invite Joe to lead his Lions team up to collect their Kappa Queensland Cup men winners medals.
So Lions collecting their medallions after another successful evening on this Saturday night. Just spotting Alex Fechner, James Coughlin.
Yeah, that's a explanation as to why he was out tonight as well, on crutches with his left foot in what appears to be a cast. So to quote James May, does that mean he's not coming on Tuesday then?
Well, let's just pretend we have all of our coaching licenses. Alex Fechner out. How does Darren Symes set up?
Well,
From this point moving forward, is it tonight's lineup?
I think it has to be. Maybe you sub in Broderick for Beakhurst, but that's the only change that you really have to think about in that front three as well. How about that with Luke Borean celebrating with his kid as well? There's the coaching staff as well, Darren Syme enjoying it. But yeah, if I'm Darren Syme, that's probably the only decision I've got to make. Is it's Broderick or Beakhurst, and I think it depends what you want. Do you want someone that is an out-and-out wide player or a bit more versatile and can play across different areas? Either way, you've still got Pengelly.
I was about to say, they still have goals, no matter what way you look at it. And the second trophy for 2024 for Lions FC. The only one they have certainly missed out on is the National Premier League's Queensland Premiers, as these are photos to hang up at Luxury Paint Stadium.
How much more room there is in the trophy cabinet there as well, because they've won a fair bit of silverware just since their entry to the NPL in 2018. And there are the champagne bottles getting ready to be popped, although I'm not sure how much of it will actually be consumed, given they're playing in 72 odd hours.
Well, that's right. They may have to wait until season 2024 is done.
And Moreton City watching on as another.
So the champions of the Kappa Queensland Cup lift the trophy, spray the champagne, sing the songs. Winners have parties.
That they do. I'm not sure how much of a party it will be, but I'm sure some of them will be making the most of the celebrations tonight before turning their attention to what is a very, very big week for Lions Football Club and some of the other ones here in Queensland as well.
It's certainly not foreign for the side from Richlands. The women's program have to do it time and time again, winning competitions and backing up days later. The boys are now in that privileged position as Joe Duckworth celebrates along with the crew.
It really is a first world problem to have when, we've played at a cup final, we've got Australia Cup round of 16 clash coming up, and then the NPL semi-final.
Yeah, so stay buckled in. As James mentioned, the Australia Cup midweek, the NPL Finals series to keep an eye on. We will finish at Suncorp Stadium. Plenty more to happen after that, but that's the main meat of the sandwich. We are done here on your Saturday night. The Kappa Queensland Cup Final going the way of Lions for the first time. It is the first trophy of its kind. Take a deep breath and we go again for the last couple of weeks of the season. James, thank you for your company. We'll see you on the other side.